Hey guys, and welcome back to another new Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some stores that could return in the future for Animal Crossing New Horizons within some updates. I'm going to go over some places that I think would be really cool to return into Animal Crossing, and ones that we could see in the future based on evidence from datamines and such. So if you're excited for this video, be sure to leave a like to show support, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more Animal Crossing content. So first of all, I have to talk about Gracie Grace, which was a store that was introduced, I believe, in Animal Crossing City Folk in the city, and it was also a part of the Nook's Emporium in Animal Crossing New Leaf. So sadly, we haven't seen this return or Gracie return yet, but this was such a perfect store for endgame content. Gracie Grace was a high fashion, really expensive type store where you would need literally millions of bells to end up getting all of the furniture that she sold in her store, including cool clothing items as well. And all of this was exclusive to her store as well, so it's just really neat. Every season as well, her stock would change, so you'd have to keep checking back. And I just think this was a really great idea because it gave those players who have way too many bells than they know what to do with something to work towards, and those players who maybe don't bother going after bells would need to work a little bit harder, like myself, to actually get all of this different furniture. So I just think it's really cool to have, a store that really encourages you to spend those bells that you're probably keeping in your Nook stop that have just been stuck there for ages and ages with no use. So it would be really great to see Gracie Grace return in the future. Currently, there is no evidence that this will return, but I do think it's very possible that she would return with Tom Nook's store if it upgraded. Well, I should say Nook's Cranny. I guess it's Timmy and Tommy's store now. But yes, I'm guessing if they upgraded to the final level, then Gracie Grace would end up on the top floor like in previous Animal Crossing games. Well, mostly New Leaf, but you guys get what I mean, and I'm hoping that will be the case. Next, I have to talk about Leif, the one I put in the thumbnail. I love Leif and his garden store so much. It was just such a magical place. I loved the music in here. I loved all the different items that he sold. I mean, in Animal Crossing, gardening and planting flowers and bushes and trees is one of my favorite things. So I really loved this. You could also get cute little plants that you could display indoors, something that I feel like we lack in New Horizons, so we could definitely see more of those. Please bring back Leif Store. It would be really great to see it return. It was only introduced in New Leaf, so that's the only game he got to enjoy having his own store. Now he gets his own kind of cart, and I don't really like the whole cart thing that they've got going on. I think it's kind of a clever idea for some characters, but with characters like Leif, they could easily have their own little building. Now, here's the thing. I know some people might not want new buildings on their island, so we definitely could have somewhere else to go, maybe like a different kind of island where we could do shopping, but I personally would be happy to have Leif's store on my island. I've got tons of space that I don't know what to do with on my island, and even then maybe they could make it optional so you could still have him as the cart, or you could choose to build his building. I think that would be a much welcome change. Because currently, seeing Leif just having a little cart and kind of visiting the island every now and then is such a shame. Leif is one of those characters that I really love and I want to see every single day on my island, not just now and then. I mean, I'm always running out of bushes, so I really would love to see Leif get his own store. And again, it could be something that fits into Nook's Cranny when it finally upgrades. There is evidence that Nook's Cranny will upgrade in the future, so could these stores like Gracie Grace and Leif's little gardening store actually make a return within there? Because both of them were in the final upgrade of Nook's Cranny in Animal Crossing New Leaf, so it's very possible that they could follow the same pattern. A lot of things in this game do follow the same pattern as New Leaf, so it seems very possible to me they could do something like that in the distant future, which would be really great. Next, of course, I can't make this video without mentioning the Roost. All of you guys who tuned into this one knew I was probably going to talk about the Roost. The Roost isn't really a shop as such, but it kind of is. I mean, it's got a multi sort of purpose to it. It's an area to relax. It's got areas where you can sit down and just kind of chill. It's got a mini game element where you can actually work as a server at the cafe and you can mess up all of your favorite animals' orders, which I always do. And of course, then you can buy a coffee. I think in Animal Crossing New Horizons, Horizons, it could be expanded much more where you can buy different varieties of drinks rather than just his traditional coffee and pigeon milk. But even if they just kept it as coffee, I would still be happy. I don't like coffee in real life, I'm not gonna lie, but I do love it in Animal Crossing. It's just a staple of the series and it's honestly so darn great. So yes, of course, I'm going to mention there is evidence that the Roost will return. A lot of people speculate about this, but the datamine has kind of confirmed the Roost and Brewster will come back. Now, the way that it's going to come back apparently will be within the actual museum, like previous Animal Crossing games. I'm personally okay with this, and I believe they've done this so that it doesn't interrupt the flow of your island by making you add a whole new building. I don't think it'll be an optional thing where you can choose if he's outside or in the museum. I think he's just straight up going into the museum, so that may be kind of disappointing to some of you, but at the same time, I'm just excited that he's going to return, and it'll give me more reason to go into the museum every day. I've basically completed mine now, so I never find myself going in there, to be honest with you. If I do, it's extremely rare. So, you know what, I wouldn't mind seeing him in the museum again. In the basement would be great if that's even possible, like he was in previous games. And wouldn't it be magical, guys, if KK Slider could go perform down there sometimes? I doubt he would. He's probably still going to perform a resident services. But there could be so many good purposes for the Roost in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and this is one that I'm just so excited to see them add, so really hoping that will happen in the near future. Next, we have Katrina and her little fortune-telling tent. This one might not seem like so much of a store, but it is, because the thing is, you do have to pay money to use her services, and in Animal Crossing New Leaf, if you visited her tent a certain amount of times outside of the town hall, or, well, I guess the plaza, it didn't always have to be outside the town hall, if you visited her a certain amount of times, she would actually get her own shop in the main street and a permanent sort of residence, which I thought was really cool. I really want to see her come back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I did make a video previously on fortune telling and all that, and how it could return, but I'm not going to go into that here. I'm just going to mention that I do think she's one of those characters that could return. Her purpose isn't filled within Animal Crossing. That's kind of why I haven't mentioned characters like Harriet, because I really don't see how they could return, and I really don't think they're going to. I'm actually going to make a video in the future on characters that I don't think will return, so obviously that doesn't include any of these ones on this list, thankfully. But yes, sorry to characters like Harriet. I do think characters like Katrina can return though. Finally, we have the Kix store. Now, Kix is a really interesting one because I feel like most people don't really care about him in Animal Crossing New Horizons. His little stall doesn't really provide too much. In honesty, it's actually kind of boring. It was a kind of cool idea to give him the backpacks, but overall his inventory is so small. And I think it's such a shame that he lost his store. In Animal Crossing City Folk, where he was introduced, he was just doing shoe shining on the street. It was kind of implied that he was homeless or hard up or something like that. So it was definitely a shame to see him kind of go back to having a little cart outdoors when he got his own full-size shop in Animal Crossing New Leaf. I do think it's a big shame. I guess what they're trying to imply is that these characters do still have their stores back in the old games, but they just are visiting the island with a smaller cart because there's no, like, place for them to properly create a store. But I don't really like that logic. I think Kix could easily have his store again. Kix could be one of those characters that moves into an Able Sisters upgrade. I think that would be a really good idea, and I would love to see Kix get a better inventory and get more items. I mean, I'm sure they could add other types of accessories that would be exclusive to Kix, so I'm really hoping they'll do that. I'd love for you guys to tell me in the comment section down below, what shops do you think will return in the future? I would love for you guys to let me know your favorites down in the comment section below. If you want to help support my channel, click the join button down below the video to become a member of the Bob's Gang. You can get a whole bunch of cool perks for doing so, and it helps support this channel every month, so I want to thank my channel members once again. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like to show your support. You can subscribe for Bob and turn on channel notifications for even more Animal Crossing content. You can check out my links and merch in the description and 2 other videos on the right side of the screen. Once again, thank you for watching and catch you in the next video.